In the depths of the ocean of life, Jose raised his 3 children, Leo, Caio, and Bella, teaching them values such as honesty, effort, and unity. He always told them stories about the surface, a world full of opportunities and riches, but inaccessible to those who were born at the bottom of the sea. The ocean, with its waters divided between the deepest zones and the regions closest to the sunlight, reflected the social differences that separated those who had everything from those who had to fight for every crumb. Jose always wanted more for his children, but growing up at the bottom meant living with limitations. One day he finds mysterious objects that had come down from the surface, symbols of a world of possibilities. He understands that only by facing this unknown universe could he change the destiny of his family. Determined, Jose climbs to the surface and, upon emerging from the water, notices something extraordinary. His appearance changes, and he is now seen as an ordinary human, someone who can walk among those who have always been at the top. However, a splash of water is enough to reveal his true origins. In the human village, people lacked more humanity. Jose meets Alisa, an experienced woman who shows him how society works, its invisible rules, and the paths for those who want to move up in life. Amidst wonders and challenges, he realizes that the real obstacle is not just the physical transformation, but the barriers that separate him from this world of privilege. Still, Jose has an unwavering goal: to pave the way for his children to live wherever they want, without being limited by where they came from. This is the moment when Jose takes risks. Jose's first days on the surface were challenging. The fear of being discovered made him hesitate at every step, and the feeling of not belonging there consumed him. He saw the confident humans around him, trading, building, and prospering, while he, despite having come so far, still felt like an intruder. But something inside him told him that returning to the depths was not an option. He had to face his beliefs and fears of the world outside. Jose's first great confrontation was not with the humans, but with himself. For years he had nurtured the belief that his place was at the bottom, that the surface was only for the strong and privileged. Now he saw that this was the biggest lie he had ever been told, and that he himself had believed. He determined to change. It was not enough to simply walk among humans. He needed to become one of them in strength, courage, and knowledge. Little by little, he began to observe how the successful behaved, how they spoke, how they made decisions. Alisa, the woman who had helped him in his early days, noticed his desire to learn and offered him guidance. "You can be whatever you want, Jose, but you have to believe in it before anyone else." And you, dear friend who is listening to this story, do you also believe that you can be whatever you want? Set a date to change your life. Acquire a new habit, such as exercising, quitting smoking, changing your environment, attending church, reading a good book, returning to the text. Her words had a profound impact on him. For the first time, he realized that his greatest prison was not the water that could reveal his origins, but his lack of self-confidence. We see that water represents the problems that life gives us, but the greatest villain is the lack of confidence. Jose then decided to fight against his greatest enemies, addictions and low self-esteem. He had become accustomed to running away from challenges, hiding in fear, accepting less than he deserved. Now he committed to being strong for himself and his children. He broke the habits that made him waste time, began to challenge himself, learn new skills, and see himself with respect. Over time, his posture changed. He was no longer the man who walked around with his head down, afraid of being discovered. He now walked upright, looked people in the eye, and spoke firmly. Each achievement, no matter how small, gave him more strength. When he looked at himself in the reflection of a shop window and saw a determined and resilient man, instead of the submissive being who had previously feared the world, he knew that his true journey was just beginning. Jose no longer wanted to just survive. He wanted to succeed. Over time, Jose began to see the surface world more clearly. He no longer saw himself as an intruder, but as someone capable of conquering his own space. However, as he progressed, he realized that the path to success was harder than he had imagined. He saw people around him looking for shortcuts to get ahead in life. Some cheated, others lied, and there were those who depended on luck. Deep down, Jose knew that none of this would last. Alisa always told him, "Shortcuts seem easy at first, but they come at a high price in the end." Jose had to resist temptation. Once, a man offered him a can't-miss deal where he could make money quickly without having to work so hard. The old Jose would have considered the offer, but the new Jose, who was now struggling with his own addictions and insecurities, knew that easy come, easy go. He decided to take the harder path, the one of discipline and hard work. He started waking up earlier, studying the business world and understanding how humans truly prospered. Progress was slow, but each lesson, each small victory, strengthened his confidence. One cold night while walking through the village, he noticed a young man trying to sell something in the square. The boy was offering his product with effort, but no one stopped to listen. Jose saw himself in him, someone trying to succeed, facing rejection, but not giving up. He approached him and said, "Don't look for shortcuts. If something is valuable, it takes time to build. If you want to win, keep going." The young man smiled and thanked him. Jose in turn realized that he was teaching the same lesson he needed to hear in the past. From that day on, he never again sought the easy way out, because he understood that true success only comes to those who build their foundation with patience, effort, and determination. Jose was moving forward. His progress was visible. He had left his addictions behind, his self-esteem grew every day, and his vision for the future became clearer. However, he soon realized something important. The biggest challenge was not to start a new life, but to maintain the pace and avoid the traps that could drag him back to the bottom. The first great threat came disguised as comfort. Now that he had achieved some small victories, Jose felt the temptation to relax. "I've improved a lot. I can rest a little," he thought. However, Alisa soon warned him. "Be careful, Jose. The greatest enemy of growth is complacency. You can't stop now." He understood that he needed to remain vigilant. Maintaining a routine was even more important than starting one. The second threat came in the form of old companions. Some acquaintances from the past reappeared, trying to pull him back into old habits. They wanted him to relax, to waste time on useless distractions again. Jose almost gave in, but he remembered what he really wanted: to give the best to his children and build a solid future. The third threat was the fear of failure. As much as he was growing, he still asked himself, "What if I fail? What if everything goes wrong?" It was then that he realized that the biggest risk was not trying. If he remained paralyzed by fear, he would end up right back where he started. To protect himself from these threats, Jose established some rules for himself: maintain his disciplined routine, avoid distractions, and surround himself only with people who would encourage his growth. He knew that the road ahead was still long, but now he was prepared to face any obstacle. Jose was no longer the man he used to be. Now he was determined to protect himself from anything that could divert him from his purpose. After all, he hadn't fought so hard to get this far just to turn back. Jose had identified the threats that could destroy his new routine, but now came the real challenge: learning where these battles were won and lost. He realized that great defeats don't happen all at once. They start with small mistakes, with daily concessions that little by little undermine anyone's progress. The first battle was won or lost as soon as he woke up. If Jose started the day with determination and discipline, following his morning routine, the rest of the day flowed better. But if he woke up late, took too long to get up, or gave in to laziness, the day was already lost. That's when he decided he would never hit the snooze button on his alarm clock again. The second battle took place in the small decisions throughout the day. Each choice mattered. Should he stop to talk to someone who didn't add anything or stay focused? Should he waste time on distractions or invest in learning? Eat whatever you want or take care of your health? Jose understood that every small decision shaped his future, and he began to choose more wisely. The third battle took place in his mind. What he fed his mind defined his actions. If he allowed negative thoughts to take over, such as fear, doubt, and self-sabotage, he felt weak and fell back into his old habits. But when he focused on what he was achieving, remembered why he started, and visualized the future he wanted, his strength was renewed. The last battle took place before going to sleep. If he ended the day reflecting on his achievements and planning the next day, he would feel motivated when he woke up. But if he slept late, without purpose and without organization, he would lose control of his routine. So he started to create a nightly ritual, reviewing his progress, being grateful for what he had achieved, and preparing himself for the next day. Jose realized that winning or losing was not a matter of luck or talent. It was about daily choices, consistent habits, and the mindset he cultivated. He no longer wanted to be a slave to circumstances. He wanted to be the author of his own story. And above all, he understood something fundamental, the most important. Battles in life are won first in the mind, then in action. Jose had come a long way since he decided to change his life. He had overcome addictions, faced his weaknesses, built new habits, and resisted temptations that could make him return to the past. However, there was a silent enemy that still haunted him: doubt. Even after so many achievements, his mind would sometimes whisper, "What if I'm not good enough? What if all this is in vain?" This thought was dangerous. He had already learned that the most important battles in life take place within the mind. But now he understood that the greatest battle of all was against doubt. It was then that he remembered something Alisa always said: "If you don't believe in your potential, no one else will." Jose realized that all the successful people he knew had something in common: the certainty that they were capable. It wasn't about having all the answers, nor about never making mistakes. It was about trusting in himself, even when the path seemed uncertain. He began to remember all the times he had overcome obstacles: the addiction that seemed impossible to overcome, the low self-esteem that made him hide from the world, the fear of failure that paralyzed him. He had overcome all of that. If he had overcome it before, he could overcome it again. From that day on, Jose made a commitment to himself. He would never let doubt control him. When insecurity arose, he would respond with action. Instead of asking himself, "What if I fail?" he would ask himself, "What if I succeed?" With this new mindset, Jose began to act with more courage. He knew that the future would still bring challenges, but he now understood that true failure was not making mistakes. It was giving up on yourself, and he would never do that again. Jose knew that his journey of transformation was not just about personal victories. He had overcome many obstacles, but he soon realized that the true impact of his change was not just on himself. He needed to share what he had learned. He now understood that leadership is not about being the best or the smartest, but about inspiring and guiding others to find their own path. And he could not continue to grow alone. He began to realize that there were people around him who were going through similar struggles as he was. Friends, family, coworkers, all facing their own doubts, fears, and limitations. Jose felt that in order to achieve true success, he needed to lift others up too. First, he did it with his children. He dedicated himself even more to showing them the power of discipline, hard work, and self-confidence. He didn't just want to be a good father, but he wanted to be an example so that they would grow up with the same strength and determination that he now possessed. Every day he encouraged them to strive for the best in themselves, to not settle for less, and to understand that success requires effort, but also the courage to move forward, even in the most difficult moments. In his work, Jose began to notice that many people were unmotivated, losing focus, and letting the fear of failure take over. He decided to be the leader he always wanted to be. Instead of being just a colleague, he began to take on the responsibility of motivating the team, providing support, and showing them that difficulties were surmountable. He shared his own journey, showing that it wasn't about being perfect, it was about never giving up. Over time, Jose realized that his leadership was not just in words, but in actions. He became an example of resilience, inner strength, and commitment to his own goals. He understood that true leadership was about motivating others to become the best version of themselves. Most importantly, he knew that by lifting others up, he lifted himself up as well. He had learned the most important lesson: A true leader is not one who simply leads, but one who transforms the lives of those around him, helping them find their own path. Jose now knew that by sharing his leadership, he was creating a lasting impact, not only in his own life, but in the lives of those around him. Over the years, Jose became a respected figure in his community. His personal transformation and inspiring leadership had touched countless lives. Not only had he changed his own life, but he had also created a legacy that would continue to inspire generations to come. His children, Leo, Caio, and Bella, grew up under the influence of a father who taught them the importance of discipline, resilience, and self-confidence. They became strong and capable individuals, ready to face the challenges of the world. The team that Jose led at work became one of the most motivated and productive in the company. They saw him as a mentor and an example of how to overcome obstacles and achieve success. The community as a whole also benefited from Jose's presence. He became an advocate for the rights of the underprivileged and worked tirelessly to improve the living conditions of everyone. One day, while walking along the beach, Jose came across a young man sitting on the sand staring out at the sea with an expression of despair. He sat down next to the young man and asked what was wrong. The young man told him that he felt lost, without direction and without purpose. Jose listened attentively and then shared his own story of transformation. "I felt that way once too," Jose said. "But I've learned that change is possible. You don't have to be stuck in your past or your current circumstances. You have the power to create your own future." The young man looked at Jose with tears in his eyes. "Thank you," he said. "You've given me hope." Joseph smiled and placed his hand on the young man's shoulder. "Remember that you're not alone," he said. "There are people who care and who want to help. And most importantly, remember that you have the power to change your own life." In that moment, Jose realized that his legacy was not just about what he had accomplished, but about how he had inspired others to achieve their own dreams. He knew that his story would be told and retold, inspiring future generations to seek their own transformations. And so, Jose's story became a beacon of hope for all those seeking to change their lives and create a better future for themselves and others. Joseph knew that the journey to success was not an easy one. There would be obstacles, challenges, and moments of doubt, but he also knew that the key to overcoming these challenges was mental strength. He had learned that the mind was the most powerful tool anyone had. It could create or destroy depending on how it was used. Jose knew that in order to achieve his goals, he needed to develop a strong and resilient mind. He began practicing meditation and visualization techniques to help calm his mind and focus on his goals. He also began reading books and listening to lectures on personal development to learn new strategies and techniques to keep his mind strong. But most of all, Jose knew that mental strength came from the ability to overcome one's fears and limitations. He had learned that when faced with a challenge, it is important not to give in to fear or doubt. Instead, one should focus on the solution rather than the problem. One day, while working on a challenging project, Jose felt overwhelmed and stressed. He began to question whether he was capable of completing the project and whether he was doing enough. But instead of giving in to self-doubt, he remembered his own words. Mental strength is the key to success. He took a deep breath, focused on his breathing, and began to visualize himself achieving success. He saw himself successfully completing the project, receiving praise from his peers, and feeling proud of himself. With this visualization, Jose felt more confident and motivated. He focused on the project and began to work more efficiently and effectively. And in the end, he completed the project successfully, feeling proud of himself and his ability to overcome challenges. Jose had learned that mental strength was the key to success. He knew that with a strong and resilient mind, he could overcome any obstacle and achieve his goals. And he was determined to continue developing his mental strength so that he could continue to achieve success and achieve his dreams. Jose's children, Leo, Caio, and Bella, had grown up watching their father change from a shy and insecure person to a confident and determined man. They had witnessed his journey of transformation and had been inspired by his strength and resilience. Leo, the oldest, had always admired his father's determination. He saw how Jose worked hard every day, never giving up, and how he always found a way to overcome obstacles. Leo was proud to be Jose's son and wanted to be like him when he grew up. Caio, the middle child, was more reserved and introspective. He had been deeply affected by his father's change and sometimes felt unsure of how to react. But at the same time, Caio felt a deep admiration for Jose and wanted to learn from him. He saw how his father had overcome his own fears and limitations and wanted to do the same. Bella, the youngest, was the most open and emotional of the three. She adored her father and felt a deep connection with him. Bella saw how Jose was always there for her, always supporting and encouraging her, and felt grateful to have such a loving and dedicated father. Together, Jose's three children felt a deep respect and admiration for their father. They saw how he had changed and how he had become a stronger and more confident person. They wanted to be like him and wanted to learn from him. One day, Jose's three children sat down with him and told him how much they admired and respected him. They told him how inspired they had been by his journey of transformation and how they wanted to follow in his footsteps. Jose was moved to tears as he heard his son's words. He was proud to have been a good example to them and to have inspired in them a positive outlook on the world. He knew he had done something right and that he had left a legacy that would be remembered for generations to come. "I love you three," Jose said, tears welling in his eyes. "And I am so proud of you. You are my children and my friends, and I will always be here for you." Jose had learned that sometimes it is necessary to change your perspective in order to overcome life's obstacles. He knew that when we are too wrapped up in our own problems, it is easy to lose perspective and feel trapped. He had experienced this personally when he was struggling to overcome his own fears and limitations, but by finding ways to gain a different perspective on life, he was able to find new solutions to his problems and achieve his goals. Now, Jose wanted to share these techniques with others so that they too could find a different perspective on life and overcome the obstacles they faced. Perspective shifting techniques, Jose said, starting to list the strategies he had learned. First, try the observer's perspective technique. Imagine that you are observing your own life from the outside, as if you were watching a movie. This can help you distance yourself from your problems and find a different perspective on them. Second, try the redefinition technique. Instead of focusing on the problems, try to reframe the situation in a more positive way. For example, instead of thinking, "I'm stuck in a job I don't like," try thinking, "I'm learning valuable skills in a job that allows me to pay the bills." Third, try the visualization technique. Imagine yourself achieving your goals and overcoming obstacles. This can help you feel more confident and motivated to achieve your goals. Fourth, try the reflection technique. Take some time to reflect on your life and your problems. Ask yourself what you can learn from difficult situations and how you can use those lessons to improve your life. Fifth, try the gratitude technique. Instead of focusing on your problems, try focusing on the things you are grateful for. This can help you feel more positive and find a different perspective on life. These are just a few of the techniques you can use to change your perspective, said Jose. Remember that sometimes it takes a change of perspective to overcome life's obstacles. And remember that you are not alone. There is always help available if you are willing to seek it. Jose had learned that in many situations, it is important to think before you act. He knew that when we are under pressure or stressed, it is easy to react impulsively and make decisions that we may later regret. He had experienced this personally when he was struggling to overcome his own fears and limitations. On many occasions, he had reacted impulsively and made decisions that had led him into more trouble. But over time, Jose had learned to control himself and think before he acted. He had developed a skill for pausing and reflecting on situations before making a decision. It's important to remember that in many situations, it's better to think before you act, Jose said. This can help us avoid problems and make more informed decisions. He had learned that when we're under pressure, it's easy to get carried away by emotions and make impulsive decisions. But by pausing and reflecting on situations, we can gain a clearer perspective and make more informed decisions. It's important to remember that in many situations, it's better to pause and think about situations before making a decision, Jose said. This can help us avoid problems and make more informed decisions. He had learned that by thinking before we act, we can avoid many problems and make more informed decisions. And by pausing and reflecting on situations, we can gain a clearer perspective and make more informed decisions. Thinking before you act, said Jose. It's a skill that can help us avoid problems and make more informed decisions. And by pausing and reflecting on situations, we can gain a clearer perspective and make more informed decisions. Jose had learned that when we're on the right path, it's important to stay focused and not get sidetracked. He knew that it's easy to get distracted and lose track of time, especially when things are going well. But by staying focused on the path that's working, we can keep moving forward and achieve our goals. Jose had experienced this personally when he was working toward his goals. When you're on the right path, it's important to stay focused and not get sidetracked, said Jose. It can help you keep moving forward and achieve your goals. He had learned that by staying focused, we can avoid many obstacles and challenges that may come our way. And by continuing to move forward, we can achieve our goals and realize our dreams. It's important to remember that when you're on the right path, it's important to stay focused and not get sidetracked, said Jose. This can help you keep moving forward and achieve your goals. Jose had learned that by staying focused, we can avoid obstacles and challenges, continue to move forward and achieve our goals, achieve our dreams and achieve success, stay motivated and inspired. Staying focused is key to achieving success, said Jose. By staying focused, you can continue to move forward and achieve your goals. Once a deep dweller trapped by his own limitations, Jose became a symbol of transformation and resilience. His journey was not just about rising to the surface, but about breaking the invisible chains that bound him to fear, doubt, and disbelief. By facing his own demons, he not only rewrote his destiny, but planted seeds of hope in everyone who crossed his path. His children, Leo, Caio, and Bella, grew up under the light of his example, learning that true freedom lies not in the place we occupy, but in the courage to challenge the limits imposed on us, whether by circumstances or by ourselves. The community that once saw him as an outsider began to see him as a leader, a beacon of light that shone not with empty words, but with firm actions, and a heart willing to lift others up. Jose understood that the most valuable legacy was not material wealth or recognition, but the ability to inspire others to believe in their own potential. His story, born in the shadows of the ocean, echoed as a reminder that the greatest achievements begin in the mind, in the daily decision to choose discipline over laziness, confidence over fear, and purpose over complacency. Even after years of struggles and victories, Jose never forgot his roots. Each splash of water that revealed his origin was a silent testimony that true change does not erase the past, but transforms it into the foundation for a stronger future. His children, now adults, carried within them not only his blood but also his teachings, the work ethic, the importance of unity, and the certainty that no dream is too small for those who dare to pursue it with determination. And so, in the depths, where Jose once taught his children about the distant surface, stories were now told of a man who challenged the impossible. His life became a living lesson. Success is not a destination, but a journey built with courageous choices, strengthened minds, and hearts that never stop believing. Jose, the man of two worlds, proved that the greatest power lies not in where we are born, but in who we decide to become. And his legacy, like the tides, would continue to influence generations, reminding everyone that even in the most turbulent waters, it is possible to sail towards the light. Stay tuned for the next videos on the channel.